Welcome back, clever home buyers. This is a short video just describing the different types of homes that you're likely to encounter. And some of these may not be to your taste. You can see here we've got homes from different eras and different architectural styles and different names, often depending upon which monarch was in charge at the time. So these are the descriptions for the different st- ages of homes, historically, the traditional styles of home that you'll see in Australia. And the next page is the different types of homes that you see in Australia. And when we look at a home that is the typical Aussie dream, which is the freestanding house on the large block of land, play cricket in the backyard, that was the great Australian dream back in the 60s, 70s, and so forth. And as we continue to grow, we are finding that not only are house prices going up, that's one reason why people are looking at moving into units, but also lifestyles are changing. We are wanting to live closer to where our interests are, and interests are gyms, walking trails, close to work, close to our friends, nightlife, the village atmosphere of some locations. And so there's been a bit of a shift recently for numerous reasons, and a lot of people are buying units as their first homes. Maybe not units, maybe they're buying townhouses, or maybe they're buying villas. And so let's have a look at the different names of homes and what it means. So, yep, the detached house is used to be the great Australian dream, and for many it still is. And then what you have is you have an attached house. And so that means that there is a common wall, and then there's a home here and a home here, and they share this common wall. And so it's often called a duplex or a semi, because it's semi-detached. There's nothing on this side and nothing on that side. They're just attached down one wall. So then you also have townhouses, which are attached. Often townhouses have got stairs in them, and so they make them a little bit more difficult for elderly people who don't want stairs. But townhouses, you'll often see them in estates. There'll be an estate of townhouses, and they'll all be maybe in groups of two, and they'll all have their own driveway and carport, but they may even have a little courtyard, and then they'll have the townhouse, which can be 1 or 2 stories. Terraces. Terraces are generally on a road. They're not inside a complex, and they will be like a row of homes that are usually 2 or 3 stories, not so much 3 stories in Brisbane, but 2 stories. And they are attached on each side. And so there's a bit of a description of dwellings that are attached to each other. Units and apartments obviously are super attached, because you've got people on top of you, underneath you, and all around you. And so you've got the high-rise ones, which are typically places like Chermside, Hamilton. We've got many high-rises in Brisbane and all over the country, who you're part of a complex. And then when you're part of that complex, you have shared communal amenities. For example, swimming pool, barbecue area, the foyer, the lifts, they're all shared amenities. Sometimes there'll be a gym. And so what happens there is a committee is formed to make sure that those shared amenities are maintained in one of those organisations. And low rise, so you get apartments that are high rise and apartments that are low rise, same thing. You still have that committee to make sure that the grounds are maintained. And we'll talk about that in a lot more detail further on in this module. Penthouses and studio apartments. Studio apartments are the tiniest. That is basically 2 rooms. One room is your bathroom, and the other room is everything else. Kitchen, lounge, bedroom, office, dining. It's all in one room, and it's called studio because it's very small. Often these are you can imagine that hotel rooms are very similar to that. And so that's what we mean by studio apartments. 1 bed, one bathroom, and very small kitchen. Penthouses, the opposite end, you've got, usually they are on the top floor. They're usually very large. You might have maybe on the top floor of the complex, there might only be 1, 2, 3 penthouses, depending upon the luxury associated with the size of those homes. And so serviced apartments are apartments that are serviced. And so, you know how when you stay in a hotel, it's serviced daily, as opposed to when you rent out an Airbnb and it doesn't get serviced. Or sometimes if you're on holidays and you're in a holiday unit, they might service it once a week. So serviced apartments, and they're often just rented out short term to people who might be in town for work or in town for a conference, that sort of thing. And then there are other dwellings. Villas. Villas are, I love villas, and I love them because they're great for first home buyers. You get the advantage of having your own yard, fenced yard. You are potentially having some of them, you even have enough room for a swimming pool. You have your own driveway, garage. It can be 2 to 3 bedrooms. It's part of a complex though, but it feels like it's a home. Quite often they might be attached to another home, sharing a wall, but a villa is generally only the 1 story, whereas the townhouses are the 2 story. Generally speaking, sometimes the terms get moved around a little bit depending upon what part of Australia you live in and what you're used to. But villas are great for elderlies as people as well, because there's no stairs generally. And whilst you can say that the homes within a retirement village, if it's a ground-based, not high-rise retirement village, they are generally all a series of villas. And you'll have, when you're staying in a villa within an estate that's made up of lots of villas, you'll have your own address and your own street number on the street. So I like villas. What else does it say there about? Yeah, downsizes. It's good. All right. And again, that's like apartments. There's a committee that looks after the maintenance of all of the other things that are happening on that estate. There might be a shared pool, swimming pool, shared parking, shared amenities like barbecue areas, that sort of thing. Acreage properties are bigger and not so much in the cities, but common elsewhere. Although you could live in some suburbs of Brisbane like Brookfield and Pullen Vale, and acreages are the way to go that way. Farmhouses, that is not so much in Brisbane, but there will be other homes that you might see listed out of town that are referred to as farmhouses, cabins, tiny homes, or shipping container homes. Yes, they make homes inside shipping containers, and they even make swimming pools out of shipping containers too. So there's lots of repurposing with shipping containers. Okay, so that's a little bit about Australian, if we go back 1 page, architectural styles and home types. Now, if we're going to get Brisbane specific here, we have got a lot of information about the way that the Brisbane City Council is looking to protect traditional homes that have been built in Brisbane. And indeed, you'll find that in other areas around the country. They will look at what the traditional homes are, and they'll have heritage labels, or they will have character labels. And so we need to go into a lot more detail about what that means specifically when it comes to what extensions, renovations, improvements you can make to a home that has been labelled as heritage or character home. And that may well be that the council will dictate to you the materials that you'll use in your renovation and the design of the renovation itself. Sometimes with older homes, and we'll go into this in a bit more detail soon, you can't just keep the front facade and just build out the back. There are other things that you need to take into consideration. So the next video will be about Brisbane's traditional housing. See you then.